Oh, and everything's muted, isn't it? There we go. Hello! I'm here! I made it! Yes! Alright. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, let's turn our chat off here. Okay, so I tossed this together, and this is how behind we are. We have no idols at all. Yeah. So this probably won't work very well, but we'll have some fun, play around with it. We're just gonna start off with some early monos and see what I can do. I have literally no idea if this will work whatsoever. I think I still have about 20 unassigned passives, and we just completed a quest somehow. Sounds good. All right, let's see what happens here. So yeah, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is the Last Epoch dev stream. I will be answering questions from the community and playing the game. Yeah. So if you have any questions, we're just gonna try a basic one first and see what happens. I think it should be fine, and we'll jump ahead. I'm just gonna make sure I'm not. Let's find how terrible this build is, because it really shouldn't work well. So it probably won't. Let's see. So this should be easy. Maybe this is appropriate content. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we may need to assign some more passives here. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Tag Last Epoch Game in the question, and I'll do my best to answer them. So we've got one here from Danklebs. Hi, Mike. With all the new armor models coming in 0.9, will they have new implicits, or will they be replacing existing models? Little column A, little column B. I'd say for the most part, there's going to be a lot of replacements. Some new ones as well. And, yeah. I don't even have all the points assigned in Fireball. Oh, we rushed this bad boy out the door, did we? Yes, we did. I'm like, get the mana reduction done. And then, like an idiot, I've got mana reduction on Cinder Soccer. So I guess I could take some mana cost stuff on Fireball and bump it up a bunch. Hoo-wee. Nothing but the best, eh? Yeah, little column A, little column B. We're gonna have some new armors come in. A lot of the armors we have right now are like color palette swaps on some existing ones, and we want to get away from that as much as possible. But at the same time, we want to have as many different armor types as possible. So, not to ignore the work we've done is important too. A lot of lightning res. And not a lot of physical res. Let's try and use idols to fix a lot of those mistakes. There's a few idols I really want. Here I started Fireball Frozen Arm. There we go. Ooh, chest. Nice. There's no game audio coming through, is there? That's better. Nailed it. Ooh, today was a tricky one. Next question. I tossed the steal. You mean Rhymer? Actually, no. Actually, this was me. I was scrambling, and you'll see why it was me, because it's terrible. Scrambling for the build, right for the stream on live. I still had the editor open actually while the stream was live in the background for the first few minutes of stream. Just a big no-no. We're gonna put points in Fireball Tree, I think, here, because right now it's doing very little. Good crit though, which is nice. So we're not focusing on dots here. We're trying to go crit. I have 11 unspent passive points. So let's finish off some passives here. I do like the mana. I was planning on getting a bunch of those idols that are like stuff if you have over 300 mana. So we've got that. Oh, we've got a couple here. Dahariel and Master Sword 1291. Dahariel, wow, 18 months, and Master Sword 1291 also 18 months. This is nuts. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking around. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun. And Haripako has subbed. First time. Thank you very much. We do a question here. I have a question. I am playing on the Steam Deck. Ooh, brave. But it plays for a while and then crashes. Is this something you're working on? Not actively, no. Steam Deck is a very interesting platform and one that we do want to get on the books, so to speak, sooner than later, or maybe I should say eventually. But it's not in active development right now. It's one of those things that we are, once we're able to, we'll like to work on it, and it's naturally kind of works because we do have a Linux environment and we do have partial controller support, so it just sort of happens to kind of work, but it's not a primary focus for us right now. We're considering that an unsupported platform for the moment. Hopefully a future supported platform. It was me. Oh, I think I know how this will end. Yeah, fine, fair enough. Do you see relic implicits expanding in the future? Seems like some interesting options for certain builds. Would love to see more. Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that we're gonna see everything expanding in the future. I think relics are a really cool slot, especially because they are class specific. They're one of 3 class specific slots, so we do put a lot of we do intentionally put a lot of cool stuff there. Part of our goal here is to get we're gonna try and make this a legendary woven flesh, just because I think it's fun doing that. But that'll take a few, because I don't think we have. I did unlock monoliths properly this time, but I don't think I unlocked any whatchamacallits. However, the dungeons. However, the first dungeon is pretty good for that, anyways. Per level. That's a nice one. I think hers is better. We're basically looking for idols and an exalted chest in order to yeah, an exalted chest and idols. Fools. Okay, we're gonna fix fireball here. I don't know why I didn't do that. More, as everyone knows the best way to do this. All those mana costs, delicious mana costs. We got crit chance here. Crit chance with it's already pretty high. So we don't need crit chance. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. So it'll be more like DLB2 fireball because it's only a single projectile there. It's just damage. That's what we want. Some damage here. There we go. Oh, that's offset. See that? See the tag for the number? Ah, interesting. You know, we've got AoE with the frozen orb. Maybe we just do 6. We have -6 from our. Let's see what happens. Does it still say 0? It does stay 0 still. Just do big. I mean, that's a lot of fun already. Let's play with that for a bit. See how that is. Nice man on the relic. Thank you. That is nice. We actually are low on some of those resistances. I think we can bump up the difficulty a bit. Let's we're here right now, right? Our Black Sun. let's see what happens. Let's see what I'm just jump up this one. See if we just melt instantly. And let's get a rule to recolor. Let's make it weird green. I'm gonna do a rarity, exalted, item type, armor, body armor, confirm, ag condition, affixes. Yeah, this is the problem. I know this should filter for it, but it doesn't, and it's frustrating a little bit. You know, let's just, yeah, let's make it really lax. We'll go basically all the spell stuff. Intelligence, vitality, fire, damage types, fire, cold, and then just crit. Yeah, let's just, as long as there's one of those things, stand out a little bit. Okay, experience. What do you think is the biggest gap in itemization or biggest opportunity for improving it? That's an interesting question. I think I'm gonna take it as like, what's the weak point in itemization? I guess that's the biggest chance for improving it. I'd say it's likely related to set items. Right now would be I guess that's sort of the easy answer. There's also, I think there's also a bit of a power gap in and I guess like late game items. And I think there needs to be a little bit more power coming from top end items for damage output. Because right now the biggest thing that changes in late game damage or late game itemization systems is actually defenses, which is really important. And I think the defenses are actually in a, I know there are exceptions to this, I'm sorry, but I think that late game defense itemization is actually not in a bad spot right now. I think it's pretty good. I think there's enough axes where it's interesting to do, but not like too difficult, too convoluted. Doing pretty good here. This does feel very similar to how I would play Frozen Orb Fireball back in the day in D2. I know it's not really a build anymore, but that was my go-to build for a long time. I always start a season with it, just because it was easy to farm. Like, you could farm anything in the game other than Ubers with this in D2. It was a little tricky to do certain things, but it was doable. And it didn't require amazing gear either, which was nice. You know, it's like going home. Just with way more fireballs. Okay, we got a question here. Hey Mike, how's your week been? Oh, my week's been pretty good actually. Supposed to play Gloomhaven last night, but it didn't work out. Friends that were coming over had some family emergencies, which all ended up working out in the end, which is great. Made a nice curry for dinner instead. It's great. Not looking forward to next week. I have a dentist appointment. Ugh, hate them so much. So much. Which spoiler are you most excited to share today? Hello Perry. How are you doing? I've got an enemy retexture. I only have 2 today. Don't have a lot. Sorry. I have an enemy retexture of a very old enemy that shows up in a few places. Shows up in about 3 places, I think. That I'm sure people are like just laughing at how terrible it is. I just want to say I put focus on my bar here because I like thought I need it mana wise, but it looks like I don't actually need it, and I'm not sure what to points. And I'm not sure what to put in its place actually. I'm kind of wondering, maybe Snap Freeze just to have an extra defensive layer, or possibly Arcane Ascendance to like go Super Saiyan with. I think we'll do Snap Freeze for now, just because it does have some cool stuff in here. And yeah, we gotta get the cool CDR and mana efficiency. Important stuff. Probably use it for the freeze. Oh, we could use it for Iceblock. That'd be a cool way to do it. I'm just gonna put it on there and see how it feels. Actually, let's get some more stuff with fireballs. We don't want to. We don't need the crit. We don't need the extra. We don't need the stun. We don't want the extra mana cost because we don't want it to spike over 0. Which I think the way that works, it does push it up. Could be wrong to the points out. We weren't doing dot stuff. Fire Wrist Shred's probably good. Yeah, sure, let's go this way. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, 1 more point still? How many points do we get? My goodness, cast speed. Always nice. We do also still have some passives too. Someone hit me with tell me which passives to take. Which passives did I miss for a build like this? Where's the obvious Mike? What are you doing? I'll come back to it. I think we're doing pretty good. I think we can. I want to push higher. Our defenses are struggling. I was getting hit pretty hard. Maybe I just take pure defensive stuff in here. Health. No. That is nice. There's just this health node. Could take that for just the ward boost as well. This is way higher than that, right? Yeah. Okay, I mean, I could just pump that. Right, I was gonna do this, that's what it was. Yeah. This one, yeah. Right? Yep. I forgot about that one too. Thank you. Okay, so do we do up to here? Potion ward gain? No, we're not doing meteor. We're doing frozen orb. I think we just dump it into here and just get some ward when we use our spells. Damage and more retention's nice. There, did it. It's happening. We're moving on to a different one because I think we're doing okay here. So we're gonna go up to Reign of the Dragon and see if we can do it. I know. Yeah. Okay. New question here. When reworking old skills to bring them up to current standards, is that process basically the same as designing a new skill, or is it a much simpler process? There's a lot of similarities with that in designing a new skill. The biggest difference, I think, is the fact that we do have expectations to not ruin builds that already exist. So even if a skill is really old, there's sometimes very popular builds that the skill fits into, and I think there's like a general expectation that we don't ruin the build type thing. And we don't let that stand in the way of us making something that's fun, or making something that's new and interesting, or like that's a good skill. Like that's a secondary consideration, I think. But it is still something that we they're so funny when they do that. It is still something that we need to be aware of and be cautious of. And then at the same time, there's also we'll look at it and say, okay, we already have this functionality with it. So is there things we want to keep, the things we like, and that speeds stuff up as well because we won't need to do as much work. So there's already like functionality in there. It also depends how old it is. So if it's like really old, we'll sometimes be a little bit more aggressive with the old scalpel. But yeah, it's pretty similar if they're really old skills. So like for example, Sabretooth, we haven't started that rework yet, but once we do, I think that'll be pretty similar to just being like, throw it all in the dumpster and start over type thing, because there's not a ton we really like about that skill. There's a few little things for sure, so it's not like a complete just start over. Our damage is not fantastic single target. Should we change Fireball to be like shoot in a line and have that just be single target? I don't like the crazy mode for it. We're gonna call this build version alpha, and I'll be updating it for next week, I think, because it's very rough around the edges. This was I started making this about an hour ago. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a lot of cast speed resistances, though. Right, another question. I bought the game last week. Cool. And had a look at your Kickstarter out of curiosity. I saw something called the Passive Grid there, which looked wild. Is that still coming, or is that idea discarded? Okay, so that's a throwback. Haven't talked about this in a long time. I'm gonna grab a picture of this because that's actually really interesting. Let's go get an image. The passive grid is gone. It is not being replaced. It's not coming back, or it has been replaced. It's not coming back. That was the first version of our passive. Passive tree. So that was that turned into this. And you can actually see a lot of similarities there still. So if you'll notice, there's like your base class, and then you've got 3 specializations to go down to focus on that each have specific passive bonuses related to that specialization, and then specific nodes that go with it, and some of them have connections like that, individual connections. And so like just looking at that basic stuff there. Let me add a source. Gonna get a new source. Passive grid. Browse. But I just saved it there. No, I promise you, I just saved it there. Yeah, see, I told you I just saved it there. Okay. And let's Baba Booey. Okay, cool. So now we have this was the original passive grid. And this is a really cool. Oh, Kane just sent me the image too. Thank you very much, bud. Just get a big version so I can see it myself too. There we go. So so you'll notice there's still, and try and draw on these. There's these 4 axes going out. I can't actually see this on my screen, so I'm sorry if the drawings are a little bit off or if you can't see my mouse at all. And what you would do is you would put points into one of the 4 squares in the middle, and it would extend out along the axis line, and any space that was covered in the resulting area that connected between the 4 different axis line edges were nodes that were available. It's basically the equivalent of this line here that's moving up as you put points in. And you could put points into anything that was touching the highlighted area. And certain nodes required other nodes to go into. So it's like the similarities are very heavy here. And we had the big thing that made this work was we ended up having to have 2 types of points. As you can see at the top, there's axis points and node points. And so the axis points let you travel along the axes, and the node points let you put them into the actual nodes. And then you also get bonuses based on the different quantity into each axis you have. That lets you then specialize into a specific type. So there's, if you put points specifically into like the blue and the purple one, you'd be going into the scholar subtype for mage. Or if you put points into the red and the green one, you'd be going into the battle mage subtype, which, as we now know, have evolved into masteries of sorcerer, spellblade, and rune master. And yeah, so this was our original passive system idea. And I think there's a lot of really good bones here, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff, but it has some really inherent problems that we just couldn't break through, and we scrapped the idea. I'd really like to see something like this show back up as a like I like a separate mechanic specific, like a classless mechanic that interacts with something in the game world. I know it's super vague, but like a dungeon reward, or like another maybe another endgame system as a whole. I don't know. But I'd love to see something that kind of borrows some ideas here to touch on those things. It was really too complicated. It was overcomplicated, and it just didn't quite fit. So yeah, that's what that is. It's gone. It's not coming back. It was interesting though. That was a system that I championed a lot in the early days, and I'll admit that was tough to see go for me, especially. I had a tough time with that. Like there wasn't like a like fight or anything like that about it, but like it was just like I knew it had to go. It's just tough to see something that you work on a lot and are really involved in the creation of originally, and just to see it disappear. So that was tough, but it was definitely an improvement. Like it was the right decision. At the time, I knew it was the right decision. I do not regret changing it at all. We're getting a little bit of damage output here. You know, it's getting a little better. Not terrible. Not bad. I think ours is better. We really need idols. I'm not saying like any idols drop. I think I may have like hidden idols by mistake. Okay, let's see if I just drop an idol on the ground, what happens. Yep. Whoops. It's just... Oh my god. Yeah, I put that hide all items when I was making the I'm an idiot. when I make this, I spew a lot of items onto the ground and then pick them up pretty quick, and I turned off idols, I guess, there by mistake. Whoops. Oh well, okay, let's just grab some idols so that we've got something instead of nothing. Because right now, literally nothing. Do we have anything other than basics? Oh, here we go. Here's our idol repository. Oh, look at that. Cold damage, double if you're over 300. Spellfire damage, that's nice. Yeah, there we go. Nice one too, actually. Not gonna use it. Spell cold damage, that's nice. That's a nice idol right there. Melee cold. Let's just snag that one there. Some nice ones. Health, sure, sounds good. Health, sure, sounds good. That's where we're at right now. Yeah, oh, we have so much fire res. We're low on cold. Low on one of them. Void res, yes please. Come on, Mike, find some faster. Health, love it. And mana and cold damage, cool. Better than nothing. It's a low bar. Okay. Can we do this one? Alright, cool. Back to questions. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we're slapping together a build as we go, kind of bad at it. But we're working our way through. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them about the game. Put at Last Epoch game in the question and I will see it better. I am one of the senior developers on this game. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're squishy. We're very squishy. We are right now we're cosplaying D2 Frozen Orb Fireball Sork. With heat-seeking pentaballs. Both piercing and 5. All right, this is getting better. I'm starting to feel this. I'm starting to feel it. Just almost died right as I said that. What are we doing? This button. There we go. Haha. Just chugging potions. Oh, get out of that. Yeah, our damage is definitely concentrated on Frozen Orb. That's our primary damage output, I think. All right. Can you spoil some general idea how Rune Master and Warlock will play like? Not really. There's still we're still very early in the development of both those classes. We've actually been doing a lot of a few weeks ago we did a whole huge thing on Rune Master. We burnt it to the ground and started from scratch. Looks amazing now. I know it's like terrible to like just bait you with that. I'm sorry. Warlock, we've been doing Warlock this week actually. Design, we're still in the design phase for it. A lot of the all of the literature that's been released on them is obsolete now, and so like even the descriptions you see in like, is there even a description? There's not even a description here. But when you go to your mastery quest, there's a description, and you see a skill there. None of that is staying. All of that's going. The description on the website is going to change. Like everything's going on both of them. But okay, so like general stuff, I guess. Like they're both like, one of them's a mage master class, one of them's an acolyte master class. They'll both play like spellcasters because they're both spellcasters. And they have like support from the other masteries that they're nearby. Yeah. Can't really talk about them much. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of like, what can I say? It's not a lot that I'm really allowed to say right now. Sorry. When we get closer to having, they're not coming out until 1.0, so like there's a long way off on them. Once we get closer to having those, we'll have more info available. But right now they're very much a concepting stage. Alright, next question. About combat upgrades coming next patch? Yeah. Will things like Lagon's hitbox, for example, Dancing Strikes working janky, and Emperor of Corpses being able to be pushed around too much get fixed? Those are definitely unrelated to the combat updates that we're doing. Those are just bugs. And they're things that we'd like to improve and work on, all those sorts of stuff, but it's very much unrelated. I don't think either of those things are fixed right now. They might be. But they are on the list. Need that exalted chest. Just started playing and reached the endgame of the game. When multiplayer hits, I'm gonna go ham with friends. Cool. Oh. Very cool one. Will you make the bow available to other classes? I love the idea of a bow acolyte running around with archer skeletons. Maybe. One of the primary pillars of design we have for the game is class identity. So that is kind of a broad term for saying, if you can make something unique about a class and have it feel really cool and interesting, do it. And so right now, one of the things that's unique about a marksman is that it uses a bow, and that's kind of the crux of that mastery's identity right now. And it's not only that; there's a lot of other things too, for sure. But that's a big part of it. So, what's the like, what's the chances of us adding bows to other classes? It's possible. There's a few there's a few really good opportunities for it, and things that we've definitely discussed and looked at. There's nothing that's planned yet. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen. That doesn't mean it's off the table or anything like that. But it's just it's not. We're not like, okay, well, this skill is going to be a bow skill. We'd also would probably make them hybrid skills. So we need another skill that's a melee ability to have be a melee bow skill to use, or like make a new skill. So there's only one melee ability on Acolyte right now at all, and it is Harvest. Reap technically, but you know, if we're talking about skeleton archers, we're probably talking about Necromancer, and Reap doesn't really count, I don't think, and bow reap doesn't make any sense. Also, bow harvest is really weird, so like that's really tricky. So there's not a lot of space to put it on Acolyte right now. There'd have to be a new skill that would come along at the same time. Maybe there wouldn't have to be. Maybe it could be a bow only skill. But a bow-only skill on a class that has almost zero bow support, eesh, that's tricky. So then what's the other options? The other options are abilities that, and this is something we don't have right now in the game, may never have, but it's technically possible we could do in a weird way. None of these are planned, just saying it's not out of the question, because I know as soon as I say this, people are going to be like, oh my god, it's coming! Slow your roll. You could have a specializable skill granted by an item. So you could, maybe there's like a unique bow and it grants a specializable skill. A whole bunch of stuff we'd have to design and work out functionality wise before that could even be tried. But that's kind of the other option to put a bow ability on any class, is you make it so that the item grants the ability. So yeah, there's something we've looked at for sure, and there's something we've dug into a little bit. If I was going to pick another class to put bow compatibility on, it would be the first choice for me, and I think for a lot of people would be Primelist, because it already has an ability that would work really well as a bow ability in Serpent Strike. So you could have that melee bow hybrid. And I think that would work really well. So I'd say that's likely to be what would happen first if there was going to be another class that would get it. I think you'd be looking there. I think also Sentinel has some good options, and even Spellblade has a couple possibilities. So there's basically everyone other than Acolyte has some good options for abilities that could be converted, and yeah, so it's something weird's going on. It's not letting me go into it. Oh, I don't have it unlocked. Hey guys, how's it going? Apparently I know what I'm doing. Apparently I know what I'm doing. Let's go. Hey, idols. Acolyte, Primelist, Mage all have no throwing skills. Yes, that's true. Will that always be the case? Can I throw a bow as a lich someday? Throw a bone as a lich somehow? Yeah. Like, so this is it's interesting that these questions are asked back to back, because half of what I just said. Let's just reapply it here with throwing. You know, I'd say it's a similar situation. I think it's not likely that we'll be seeing a big influx in throwing abilities on those other classes, and a lot of this also has to do with just support in the passive tree, right? Like where's room in here to put throwing support, right? And don't say Rune Master, because we're not doing a throwing build on Rune Master. But yeah, like I guess my point is that having everyone be able to do everything does take away from that class identity and the unique, what makes each class unique as far as playstyle and item compatibility. And I think one of the big upsides to having that like uniqueness across the classes is you're not looking for the same items all the time. You're looking for different items most of the time, and like you get, I guess like a good opposite example of this is, and I always, whenever I use Diablo 2 as a bad example, I always feel terrible with myself because I'm like, ugh, I love that game. But yeah, so there are things that it doesn't do amazing. For example, Shaco is way too ubiquitous. I think Shaco's not a good item for the game's itemization health, because you can pretty well, like, almost every, and there's a few exceptions to this, but like almost every item when you pick up a helmet, you're just like, is it better than Shaco? That's the line, and almost always the answer is just no. Or sometimes there's like a few classes that really need specific items and everything like that, but like you can pretty well always slap a Shaco on something and it's good, right? Really, really good. And having more specialized things helps avoid that a little bit. Yeah. So having throwing be more of a sentinel rogue type ability is likely going to stay primarily there. Like, again, you can have an item that grants a throwing ability that anyone can use all of a sudden, and there's interesting things you can do with that too. But it's possible, but not likely soon. There are no throwing abilities for classes, for those 3 classes you listed, in the works. Yeah, that's true. There's no throwing abilities for those 3 classes in the works. Reworked passive grid style system to be used for endgame progression. Oh, I'm just like not even looking at the screen. Like, I'm so good at this. A reworked passive grid style system to be used for endgame progression. Bring it back. Yeah, maybe. What was the inspiration for the Void theme? There's a lot of heavy inspiration for the Void theme in I was trying to say it fast enough to find it, and I never know where it is to look for it. Chrono Trigger. I don't know where it is on the map. Somewhere in here. Somewhere in here there's something that looks a lot like Lavos. It was fully unintentional as far as I'm aware. And the person who drew it was just like drawing cool stuff to stick in the Void map. And we're like, that looks a lot like Lavos. They're like, who? Like, okay. Someone knows where it is, let me know. But I think Chrono Trigger has a big impact on this game in general, as far as just, it's something that a lot of us played a lot of, and so you just get a lot of those things creeping in, just naturally. There's a highlighted message here. Right here. Hello, I love your game. Thank you. I'm hyped for the next patch. Me too. So I studied the past patch. I found the patch always being alive and ready in Fridays, and the posts of them are on Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. approximately. The next Thursday, October 27th, we receive advice and post. No, there will not be a patch announcement video on Thursday, October 27th. That will not happen. Sorry. Little early. Frozen Orb just melt stuff. I love it. Love it. Oh, get me across the bridge. Come on. I am very squishy. I probably should just use my defensive abilities instead of not. probably better. Come on. Mike, please never change. You're too awesome the way you are. Thank you. Oh, Llama, thank you. I couldn't tell if that was like sarcastic or not, but yes, thank you. But I want to change sometimes. Only for the better, though, I promise, okay? I do love Fireball. There's just something about it. This build is because I didn't get a chance to play any D2R this league. I want to so bad. The new all the new Thunder Charms and everything. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, 2 LP Rainbow Edge. That's cool. We're not gonna use it, but it's cool. I love this animation. I know some people think it's way too bright. If it is, sorry. Like, playing in a dark room with high monitor brightness, it's a little bright. But I love it. I love it. Oh! Apparently, I'm a little squishy. What are we gonna do about that? Huh? Should we take Iceblock? Is that what we do? I don't think it is. I think we should. I think we're like need to just take more defensive passives. Should I just like pull out of this because I'm not using it much? Let's do it. Why not? Why not? I think the Frozen Orb of VFX, that's what GFX means, could use some more oomph, more shards, even if they do nothing. Okay, so we can't do like shards shooting out that do nothing. It is tricky at best. And I will say that we did have some. There were some technical limitation reasons for the quantity of shards that come out of it. Also, just like it is a bit of an homage to D2 Frozen Orb. Well, Volcanic Orb is, but the Frozen Orb conversion, I guess. And it's like that one doesn't actually have that many, surprisingly. Oh, come on. Yeah. That's right, just press all the buttons on your keyboard and you're good. Maybe I'm just running in too far. That could be it. F4 or just 3. Let's try and use this. And let's this gets pretty big, doesn't it? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, let's just crank the freeze duration up to infinity. And more cast speed. I think that's all we need. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want any of this stuff. No. All right, let's try and work that into our rotation a bit. But will Volcanic Orb have a fresh new skill tree next patch? I don't think next patch. No. I think it's got some. It's had some updates and changes. I think, but not fresh new. I want to say fresh new because that's implying that there's more work, I think, than we're planning. One of the big things we are looking to do with skill trees just in general, what part of modernizing a skill tree is one of our things that we started doing with skill trees at a certain point was, oh, that's me dying. My phone just picked up, oh, that's me dying, and was like, are you okay? Come on, leave me alone! Part of our modern definition for skill trees in their creation is no node should have more than 5 points that goes into it. You have 20 points in the tree. 5 is a pretty substantial chunk of that. 8's almost half. 7 down here as well. So like we really tried to reduce the number of total points that go into a tree pretty heavily, since making some trees like Volcanic Orb. So yeah, I think there is reason to assume certain things in here will get changed and updated and things like that, but full rework, not anytime soon, I don't think. Did we get a Warpath leak already? I just saw Judd said something in Reddit. I don't think there's any major Warpath leaks or changes. Oh, cool! I just got linked another. Here, let's do this one now. I just got sent another video that I'm allowed to share. I'll do it right now. Come on. Rules. No idea how this is going to show up. Oh, no. Dang it. Sorry. I'm good at other things, I swear. Alright, here we go. So this is a bit of a VFX, or this is a fireball change, basically. So yeah, that's the better version of what I'm playing right now. You can shoot them in the background. See them at the same time. Kinda. First one. There we go. Thanks, game. I haven't seen anything about like Warpath's not getting massive changes. I don't think. I don't know what you were talking about, Judd, on Reddit. Let me know. Our cycle's going to be 3 months or more, possibly. I don't know what the exact timing is going to be on them yet. I think having a consistent schedule that fits nicely as something divisible by that goes nicely into 12 is a very smart decision. It's a demanding it's a demanding cadence for sure. But if we can make it work, it'd be great. And we're gonna just do a little bit of there we go. Yeah, I think there's we're not 100% set on things like that, and it'll take us a little while to get our feet under us. Where we're not necessarily doing. Man, she's using snap freeze more. That's delicious. Yeah. All right. Snap freeze, new best friend. Snap freeze, new best friend. Oh, it's great. That was our mistake. We just weren't using our skills. Pro tip: use your ability. You heard it here first. Very good. Okay, next question. Is it just me, or the 2D art of the Primelist looks a lot like you, Mike? Yes. I think my face was used as a starting point for the original concept art. It's since been changed and updated, so it drifted further away. But the original concept art was used as a base point for the second concept art. Which I realize that I'm not attacking this thing, and it's because I'm distracted by answering questions, I swear. So yes, it does look a lot like me, and it's not a coincidence. I'm much more handsome, though. No. Oh, you can't laugh at yourself, right? 4,000 hours in, and I can't find Orions for my life. Oh no. Any planned way to get one item you want after 2,000 model lists or something like that? There's certain... It's tricky. I do know that we try and put in... So this is really cool what this did, by the way, is it resets the whole grid. So if there's a bunch of like really cool nodes that you want to like try again, you can take a second crack at them. But you do have to work your way back to them. Oh, does it let you start here? No. Okay, that makes sense. But it doesn't reset once you failed, which also makes sense. Let's go back and get some XP. You know? I think I'm gonna go do... I still haven't found that exalted chest. I might see if there's an exalted chest in my stash. And go back and do some dungeon action here in a minute. But yeah, we do try and have directed farming where you can like skew the odds in your favor. Thank you, Cham! Resub 4 months in a row. Hey, Mike, any idea how long cycles will last? I was just answering this, I think, but I don't have a specific time. I think that in and around the several cycles per year, or a few to a little bit more than a few, yeah, few to a little bit more than a few cycles per year range is likely the goal. We don't have that set in stone yet, unfortunately. But I do think that having it be a consistent number, and avoiding other major releases that might conflict is smart. You know, like these are all factors we're aware of and things we'd love to do. I think the priorities that we have around timing of these are probably pretty similar to what most people are hoping, and yeah. It's also the sort of thing that I like. I think we're flexible enough to change if it's not going well. Oh, that hurt. What are we doing here? I was answering a question, wasn't I? Directed item finding. So yeah, like there's things that we add in. For example, just like each one of these has specific types of items of like unique items that it has nodes for in it. So like you'll like pushing towards specific monoliths will help you find certain items better, and then on top of that, you can get monolith rewards that help you find specific items better again. So like like find more uniques or whatever, and so like we try and add in ways that you can like improve your odds with directed, not full on deterministic item finding, but like directed item finding, I want to say. And I think as more dungeons get added, you'll start to see more ways for that to happen. Because like you can go do the, I think it drops from there in the Soul Gambler, and so you can just like go do that dungeon and only pick whatever item slot you were talking about. Sorry, and just have a higher chance to get it. So there's things you can do to like improve your odds. Guaranteed, and then also Runes of Ascendance. Yeah, there's lots of things you can do to be like to focus on certain slots basically, to improve your odds on it, and like full on just 100% guaranteed it's gonna be this. We shy away from that pretty hard. What is my intelligence anyways? Oh, it's like 34. That's a problem. We don't have, because I did unlock the monolith incorrectly, we don't have our blessings, which is a problem. Oh, hit that wall. Oh, mana recovery. I don't need it because I have mana for days. Alright. How do we obtain Fractured Crown these days? Ah, yes! A very interesting item. This item has a long history in Last Epoch. It's I would call a secret in the game, so I don't really want to just like flat out say it in case anyone doesn't want to like know the secret. But I can give you some hints, and there are people that will tell you how to do it, and you can find walkthroughs online if you really want to find out. So it's a bit of a nod to, in the previous system, it was found by fracturing a crown item through the crafting system. So previously when you were crafting, there was a chance that you could fracture an item, which is essentially the same as running out of forging potential now. But it could happen just out of nowhere where you'd be like, first craft, fractured, great. That sucks. And it was pretty problematic. But there's... You would have to fracture a crown item in the crafting system, and it had a chance when it fractured to turn into the fractured crown. Unique. Which is where it got its name from. I will say that because we don't have fracturing anymore in the game, the system's not identical. However, it is very reminiscent of the old system. And combined with new mechanics that we use for getting unique items out of the crafting system. So like just try and make yourself a fractured crown in the crafting system. But like be really careful about it. And like deliberate. I think those are good clues. Hi, Mike. Hi, Russell. How's it going? Glad to have you here. With the Rexant? Oh, recent game releases of Diablo Immortal and Undecember, and their very aggressive monetization models. How do you guys stay the good guys? Does financial success impact your plans of monetization? I would consider like, I mean, defining financial success is so difficult, and I think a good game can. I don't know how to say this without just being a jerk to someone. I think a good game can like respect players and have fair monetization systems, and still be profitable and successful and fun and awesome. And I don't see there's anything wrong with going a little hard on the monetization stuff, but it's not the style of game we're making. The goal here is to make an awesome game. And in order to do that, we need to monetize the game in some way that will support continued development of that game. like that's the goal, I guess. Personally, I already consider the game very successful, which is wild. But I think we're really trying to. I think we've shown. I don't know. Like, we don't want to add in any pay for power, any pay to win, any pay for convenience type elements to the game. We're really strong against all of things like that for our game. That's a good way to put it. There we go. For our game, we're really strongly against those things, and that's not the type of systems we want to create for our game. Yeah, I found the wording. Nailed it. You can tell I do this a lot, right? Anyways, and I don't think there's anything that I can really say other than just like wait and see what we do. I'm very confident in what we do. You'll be happy with. Like, we're not going to put in any way to, like, I don't know, have the joke be the most powerful weapon in the game is a credit card. You know, like, that's... if anyone ever was able to say that about Last Epoch, I'm going to freak out. If anyone's able to say that seriously about Last Epoch, I'm going to freak out and do everything I can to change it. Because that's not the sort of game I want to play. It's not the same sort of game I want to make. And I don't think we've done anything to show that we're considering that. I don't think we've done anything to show that we're intending to do that. We've been really careful to, I guess, ask for the money we need instead of the money we want to make this game a reality. Is that a good way to say it? I don't know, maybe. Kind of making stuff up as I go here. Probably should have prepared stuff before I talk about this topic. Yeah. It's really a difficult thing to navigate when you're making a game. Like so difficult. And I don't know the right way to do it. And none of us do really. And we're kind of maybe coming at things a little bit naively, possibly, but seems to be working great so far. So something's going right. And there's no evidence to suggest that what we're doing can't be sustainable at all. Like, it is, as far as all the evidence we have, this is completely sustainable. In the model that we've planned and everything, and it'll still be fair and fun and all sorts of stuff. What was the question? How do you guys stay good guys? Yeah, I don't know how to answer your question directly. I hope I rambled enough that I got to an answer somewhere, roughly. Oh, that was a lot of damage. Is there any ongoing discussion about more multipliers within skill trees, particularly in normalizing them or baking them into points invested, which skills underperform which skills underperform seems fairly determined by just not having these multipliers. We did talk about having like specific, yeah, just like more damage, like a skill leveling up. So okay, how do I say this? In let's use Diablo 2 as an example. As you level up a skill, as you put points into that skill, it doesn't change mechanically very much very often. I mean, some of them do, like, as you put more points into summon skeleton, you get more maximum skeletons you can summon. But most of them, like, for example, let's use Fireball, it's just, Fireball does more damage. Fireball does more damage. They also end up costing more mana. But yeah, Fireball does more damage. And which kind of effectively is like there are different nodes and different trees for, like, this kind of like super like single node skill trees, and we considered having an effect for each skill tree that was unique to that skill based on the number of nodes invested. So for example, things like you have like Fireball nodes, and the points invested in Fireball, for every point invested in Fireball, it does 2% more damage or whatever, and so you get 20 points invested, and it's basically like having a 40% more damage multiplier on the skill at max level compared to what it is at base level. So yeah, we have considered doing that. One of the big reasons we don't actually have that is we struggled a lot to come up with good examples on how to do that for abilities like Teleport, for example. Because quite often there's like a subset of abilities that are kind of like the whole 1-point wonder abilities that actually do work decently well without investing into them. And we kind of like having those. And as soon as you have those, usually the per point investment changes for a skill just like a base skill level up change on non-combat abilities. For example, Teleport, the obvious things to scale are mana cost and cooldown, because it's basically all it is just mana cost cooldown move at base. You end up having to you end up with the final version of the skill either being so freaking fast and cheap and amazing just from the base, or you have the base skill just being unbelievably terrible to use. Because there's this interesting thing that happens when you unlock a new skill and you already have... We've got a fix for that, by the way, that like running to the left every time. Yeah, we've got a fix for it. Just was discovered, the fix, I think yesterday. Anyways, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, like when you unlock a new skill, there's no points in it. And quite often what a lot of people do is when they unlock a new skill, first thing they do is they just put it on the bar and try it and see how it feels. And if you have especially non-combat skills, like Teleport's the prime example here. You stick Teleport in your bar, you use it once, and you're like, oh, that had a 15-second cooldown at base and cost 30 mana, and I'm level 10 or whatever, and it's like, that was awful. And so having those initial impacts on the abilities, and also just combined with the fact that it's kind of interesting to be able to build a skill for utility specifically and not focus on the damage, and having those universal effects on these skills really do steer them one note frequently. So the other flip side of this is, say someone wants to really make their Fireball, like the whole point of Fireball is to apply ignites to as many things as possible simultaneously to be able to trigger some effect off of having ignited targets. And you don't care how much damage Fireball actually is doing at all. All you care about is that it's applying ignite to as many things as possible. But what Fireball does when it levels up is it just gets more damage multiplier. Great. That's doing basically nothing for you. And so it takes away that decision-making moment of, do I want to put points into it being a damage ability or more of a utility ability? And we think that's an interesting decision to make. Most of the time, yeah, it is just more damage. There you go. And I think the solution is likely dialing back the amount of just more damage nodes that are available on skills that have like 6 of those already, and more bringing them into conditional more damage nodes, bringing them into just maybe more damage for fewer points in some situations, or just reducing the total number of points investable. So instead of a 5-point node, it's a 3-point node, let's say, and then skewing some of that balance for power onto items a little bit more. And we've talked about what this is a few times. where it's likely going to be something along the lines of, I didn't put those conditionals because it could change a lot, having the, so right now you see this is getting 4% increased damage per point of intelligence. The primary way you get intelligence is through your items. There are some in passives and a few other ways, but primarily it's through items. So this is the direct item scaling power on Fireball for you. So if that was instead maybe 1% more per point, suddenly that's multiplicative with a lot of other things on items, and you're seeing intelligence as a multiplicative power increase on your damage of your skills. So that was a really long-winded way of saying we're probably going to fix the problem you're describing a different way. Does this work? Yeah, it works. It almost didn't work. Oh, I missed the item drops. I forgot about that. That also was fixed recently. So the dragon drops things faster. I'm pretty sure that was fixed. So you don't portal away before the dragon drops its items. It's just got that that death animation, and we wanted to show the death animation, but yeah, people do exactly what I just did and portal away before you get it. Unfortunately. I'm gonna go I want that exalted chest to do. I was gonna check. Okay, let's check to see if we have an exalted chest that's worthwhile to do this with. Chest. I don't think it matters if it's class specific as long as we don't get the class specific one. So there's a ton of health we could get off that one. Just if we roll and grab the... I do have a backup one I could keep in case. Oh, here's a couple. That's better. Let's just do this. Are those identical items? Those are identical items. That's funny. Let's craft on that a bit. Boop. I'm over here now. See, I can teleport just like my character can. If you haven't seen it, this is our crafting system. It's pretty cool. Lets you add stats to items. What do we need? What if we're gonna get another resistance? Void's our primary physical. Let's phys res. Let's just slap this on. So this glyph reduces, so we have 30 foraging potential, just in case people don't know what this is. 2 prefixes, 2 suffixes. We can pick exactly which ones go on there. We can use glyphs to modify the craft. That's going to give us this extra suffix here, which is physical resistance. So it's going to just add phys res to this item. This reduces the chance of us losing foraging potential. So I'm going to use somewhere between 1 and 18 foraging potential. And it is weighted towards the 1 a little bit. Not heavily, but a little bit skewed that way, just so you feel like you're lucky more than you're not. 30 remaining. And this has a chance to just not use any at all. So we're just going to start doing this. So there we use the Glyph of Hope preserved it, so we didn't use anything. Glyph of Hope again. We lost 3. We got a critical success. So what that means is it doesn't use any. And then it also gave us a free level of something else, which I think it gave us a free level of mana, which is cool. And then we used 20. We're down to 7. Try and finish this off. We didn't make it. It's fine. T4 mana. All good. So now that we have an exalted item here that's leveled up as high as it can go, we're going to go take this to one of the dungeons that the reward lets us combine an exalted item and a unique item with legendary potential of the same base type, so they're both body armors. It's that line that's directly under the that's directly under the name. So woven flesh body armor, that's what you're looking for, and mage body armor is fine. And it will take it'll take a number of affixes from the exalted item, the purple, and put it onto the orange item, so equal to the legendary potential. So it's going to take one random affix from this purple item and put it on this orange item, which is why I leveled all of them up as high as we could go, because I don't know which one it's going to take. I kind of hope it takes the vitality, but I'd be fine with all of those. So we're going to do that. And which key is it? This one, Temple Sanctum, yeah. If you right-click on keys, it opens the map to the exact location you need to go. And you can also right-click on the node, too. All right, let's back to some questions. Is there any ongoing discussion about... Oh, no. Is there any philosophy on a skill getting a large upgrade at level 21 or 23? I think it would be really cool if there was a build that could only work with plus levels and skills. I mean, that's cool how there's, like... This is the same thing this is happening where there's, like, 2 related questions. That's pretty cool. So this is actually something that we do kind of look at when we're building a skill tree. And sometimes we'll put 2 nodes really far away from each other. I'm not highlighting these 2 nodes specifically by any means, but just as an example, sometimes we'll put 2 nodes really far away from each other on the tree, specifically, and intentionally make them work really well together, with the understanding that the only way to really make the build work is that you need to get those extra points in order to be able to spread out in the tree a little bit more. So while we don't explicitly directly do it super carefully, closely, like exactly, we do kind of do it a little bit-ish here and there. So the first tier of this dungeon, I can only do unique items with the level requirement 50 or below. Unfortunately, Woven Flesh is 51, so we're gonna have to unlock the second tier to be able to do it. Which is fine, we can do it, right? Right? Right, Mike? Yeah, okay, cool, thanks. Oh, Warpath visuals are being revamped, animations synced up tighter, overall it's feeling much nicer internally compared to what is live. Cool, I didn't know if that was being shared or not, but thank you. That was Judd, the game director, popping in to say hi. What is your take on adding character customization options, such as different faces, hairstyles, or skin color? Is it too much effort for such a small thing? What if it was sold as MTX? Yeah, so, this is one of those things where one day we'd love to have this in the game. Is it going to happen for 1.0 now? Definitely not. There's just too much to make it into 1.0, basically. I'd say there's a good... It's one of those features that you're like, there's a good chance we'll get around to this eventually. When? I have no idea. But we do want to have character customization. The basic version of this is like just gender options, and it's something that we would like to have in the game, because it's a big deal to a lot of people. A lot of other people, it's the least important thing ever. And we had to make a decision a little while ago on how important we considered it compared to some other features. It's just a, like, of these 50 things we want to put in, you get to pick 7. Which are the 7 you want? You know? And that happens a lot, unfortunately. And a lot of them go to, okay, well, when we have enough time, we'll get to that and we'll do it. And we set aside time for that in a lot of cases. And a lot of those things that we thought we wouldn't put in yet, we have turned around and done. Because priorities change, and, you know, it's nothing set in stone, really, on when the order of stuff has to happen and all that sort of stuff. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Take it. I will take it. Exalted Relics? Eh. Roll with it. Are you a guy that built this game? I am a guy that built this game. I'm one of the senior developers for 11th Hour Games, and I have been working on Last Epoch for, well, since before the Kickstarter, whatever that is. 4 years now? got to be 4 years now. So we're at the old house when this started, yeah. It's like it was almost a full year, I think, before Kickstarter. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been awesome. I just scrolled past a huge chunk that was no pings to me, and I'm assuming some people probably didn't ping me in some questions. So I apologize if I just scrolled past your question. I've still got one I'm going to ask here, but if I did like full on go past, if you see me answering a question after yours, just re-ask it with that Last Epoch game in the question, and I'll get to it. So with regards to more modifiers, is there and I'm skipping a question. Are there going to be portal maze-like levels similar to Sanctuary in Diablo 2? I immediately thought Chaos Sanctuary, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, Arcane Sanctuary. Yes, right, obviously. I don't think we have anything directly planned. I guess, actually, the Temple of Eterra is kind of similar to that, actually. So I guess yes? It's different, though, because you're not trying to find one of them that's random. It's always the same one. Maybe eventually? There's that relic node coming in. This one snap freeze, 40 mana. Not bad. Do we pick it up? Do we use it? Chill Shock Ignite. We're not really doing any of those things. Yeah, I like our relic. We're just gonna leave it. With regards to more multipliers, is there a quota aimed for a skill tree? No. Cinder Strike is a notorious example of having a lot of added flat damage, but so few multipliers that it becomes mostly a support skill. Tempest Strike also has a ton of really cool utility nodes with a few scaling nodes. Yeah, there's not every single one's done on a per case basis. None of them are like just go for it. Oh, Idol's nice. That's what I'm talking about right there. We don't have a set, like, it has to have this many more nodes or anything like that for any tree. No. Can this choose a modifier unique already? Can this choose a modifier the unique already has? Yes, it definitely can. So for example, this doesn't have it, but if I had increased health on there, it would show up as two separate mods. You'll see how it shows up in a second when I finish. I'll make one. She always drops a ring, and couldn't remember which key it was for a second. Oh my goodness. I swear I've done this before. One more.
Escape is impossible.
Stack in this corner over here.
Escape is impossible.
Here we go.
The future cannot be denied.
Right. Immune in the Ruined Era.
Escape is impossible. Maggot.
Yeah, get sucked into that black hole. Deal with it. Yeah, okay, so she always drops an exalted ring and a unique ring with 1 legendary potential on it. So you can always make a legendary no matter what. Just in case. Not awesome, not awesome. Fine. Let's go make one just for fun. Make sure I'm not throwing away a sweet ring. That's not a bad ring! It's not great. It's not bad. So we pulled the increased lightning damage off of that ring. So it shows up as like a red mod. And the item changes to, well, pink red, but yeah. So yeah, if this got increased health, it would show up as a red mod above that says increased health. There would just be 2 instances of increased health on the item. Alright, could there be a secondary layer of utility to resistances? Like incoming related ailment, efficiency, duration shaved off, for example, or chance to trigger some class specific mechanic if hit with specific damage type. I mean, I think that's a great idea for an item, a passive, a temporary effect on a skill. Like those are great ideas. I don't think that that's a fantastic thing to put in as just a baseline effect for resistances in general, because it already helps with a lot of any damage dealing ailment already. So like fire resistance helps deal with ignite just by the fact of you just take less damage, less fire damage, right? So not likely. Key. Alrighty. Here we go. Level 2, level 80, but second tier. But we can make a woven flesh legendary out of it. You know what? We have a passive point. Maybe we just start keep putting points in there. And the other option is more int, more mana, or this one. This is basically 10 on use of every time I use a fire or cold skill. And this is just when I use my cold skill, 40. So it's basically the same either way. 7 per point. Yeah, this is more. Yeah. I guess not actually, because it's on a cooldown. It's on a huge cooldown. I'm not gonna be able to just waltz through this one, am I? I'm gonna actually have to pretend like I'm playing a real game. That fireball's not doing a lot of damage, is it? Alright, can we get a monk class that has a healing wind ability? Oh, funny enough, there actually is a healing wind ability in the game that used to be there, and it's technically still there. It's not the same as healing wind that you're talking about, but it's the activated ability for Spriggan, summon Spriggan once it's cast. Anyways, as far as a monk mastery, or base class even, I guess, if we're going in the game, I think that there is room for a class like a monk, or possibly a monk exactly, but it will not be in 1.0, and we don't have any specific examples of timelines for more classes coming into the game after 1.0. We are interested in adding more classes, though, eventually. It's a matter of when, not if. And then Monk is a pretty popular request, and fits nicely in a few different archetypes. So there's certain base classes that could be possible to add to it, and there's other there's even classes that already exist that could be added as a mastery too already. You know what? After we, I didn't give you a spoiler when I died last time, did I? Mike, you're terrible. Okay, as soon as I either die or as soon as I die or complete this, we'll do a spoiler. I was just reading a suggestion that Kane had that I think's great. Kane, I agree. I like it. Do it. I don't know how to do it. Get through. Exalted relics. I'll take it. Can all uniques... I can actually shorten this sentence. Can all uniques have up to 4 LP? Or are there individual restrictions per item? Yes, all uniques can have up to 4 LP. The question asked actually was, can all uniques which can have LP have up to 4 LP? The reason I took that out is because, I guess I probably should mention it. Previously, some uniques could not have legendary potential because they were acquirable as a only as a class quest or as a storyline quest reward. And we added in the second set of dungeons, one of the rewards, the Soul Gambler, means you can actually gamble those uniques, and they can have legendary potential from that gambler. I'm trying to think if there's still an exception. There might be one that you still can't, but yeah, anything can. At the same time, though, the chance of having legendary potential on an item is relative to that item's base power. And so most of the time that's just relative to the item level. So like we saw that I thought I still had it on me. The Rainbow Edge we got earlier have 2 LP. Found it really easily. 2 LP, no problem. It's a very low level unique, so it finds high legendary potential a lot easier. Level 80, 90 uniques especially are really rare to have legendary potential on them at all, let alone 4. Like, there's certain uniques that if someone posts a screenshot of it with 4 LP, I'll be like, yeah, right. And there's others where if people post a screenshot with 4 LP, I'll be like, yeah, sweet, you found one, you'll find another one, you know? So the chance varies pretty wildly, and this is really intentional because what it does partially is apart from the throwing damage, it's really nice actually. What it partially does is it gives a home for low level and leveling uniques as later game items. Generally not. It's not to say that the goal is to have every single item be end game viable, but it just helps improve their odds of being end game viable, or just useful at all. Because what you can kind of do is you can kind of look at a 4 LP leveling unique as the implicit values, the entire properties of that unique as just the implicit values of some exalted item. Because if you slap an exalted item on it, the whole exalted goes there. I guess exalted and sealed affix slots, or implicit and sealed affix slots of that exalted. Sealed affixes cannot be pulled through the legendary creation process. Oh god, is that what we do? This is kind of a joke. There's a couple uniques that are just like so bad that even 4 LP versions of them are a bit of a joke. So Hammer of Laurent and Alchemist Ladle are the 2 that come to mind always. And just because like even the stats on Alchemist Ladle there's implicits that are better than it, you know. What was I gonna say? The is that how you make those relevant? You have like secret items that can have 5 LP and you allow sealed affixes to go in. It's not in the game. Just be funny, I think. Okay, we're almost there. Our damage output's low and we're really squishy. But I'm having a lot of fun, so it doesn't matter.
You carry the epoch then?
I do carry the Epoch then.
Has no use for it.
You don't think I have a use for it? I have a use for it. Come on, Jolra. Let's be real here. Let's not kid anyone. Come on. I wasn't born yesterday. I actually won't be born for many decades, but you know. Use everything! Use everything! Dang it. Just walk to the left slightly. Oh boy. Oh boy.
What is this place? Astounding.
Alright. As promised. This one's pretty sweet. Chow. Little Scorpy boy. Big Scorpy boy, actually. If you look at the scale on the right. Alright, will there be non-human classes like playable Nagasa or Osprix? I mean, so that's a really cool topic. There's nothing explicitly on the books for that just yet. But, I mean, a few years from now, I think that's a viable option of something to do, and I think it's really cool. Maybe there's a whole, maybe like fully not planned or anything like that. But I mean, I think about a lot of these things just in my spare time, and I think it would be really cool to add. Sorry, okay, this is the problem with adding, making it so that any class can be a different race is either it's purely cosmetic, in which case whatever, it's fine, it's cool. But if there's any mechanical value to it at all, you need to be able to switch between them, or else you've just multiplied the number of classes by this other thing that's non-mutable, immutable, whatever. So what I'd really like to see is like a new class, a new base class with new masteries, and it be a different race. Specifically, so it's like, oh, you're gonna play the I don't know, whatever class, and it happens to be an Osprix. I think that'd be really cool. That would be my vote for it. I could just be a cosmetic only thing for maybe it's an NTX, or maybe it's just like an option when you're creating your character to pick from. I don't know. There's lots of different things that would come in the same time as like a sort of a race thing happens. It's it like if it's a selectable option as well. The big problem is it multiplies the number of animations you have to do. It's another axis that multiplies animations, which is just an unbelievable amount of work, and also like armor skinning, and it's just so much. Which is why I think it would work well as like this class happens to be an Osprix. I think it'd be cool. There we go. What are we doing? Pretending we know how to play this game. Do we have any points we can put in stuff to make ourselves not bad? I sealed really terrible affixes on these just because I was trying to fix my resistances. So I was like dodge rating sealed on a bunch of these things. That's what happens when you rush. That's what happens when you rush. Let's just go try again. I think I can do it. Oh, 8 minutes. Can I do it in 8 minutes? I doubt it. We'll try. Why Primelists don't have any throwing skills? I mean, so this is... partially it's just for class identity. Partially it's because they already have so much going on that having support for that in their passive tree, not just their passive tree. When I say support for it in the passive tree, I'm kind of broadly referring to all class-specific customization axes. So also just idols. Like there's a lot of throwing interaction idols on both Rogue and Primelist. Sorry, Sentinel. And then it's not just what else is there? There's other things too. Passives, items. So there's class-specific affixes on like your helmet, chest, and relic as well, and there's throwing related things. Yeah, there's just keeping things focused a little bit, and restricting the number of options that there are lets us put interesting decisions on each one of them. If every class can basically do everything, then there's and you're going through the tree. Say we worked throwing damage into this tree. In order to not have it be so huge that it's overwhelmingly large, we ended up merging nodes. So let's say we took these nodes and we switched them together, and we made like the fire and ice nodes, and then we put the throwing nodes in the middle here in place, and then we took these two nodes and we switched them together and put another one there. And we're making room by just squishing things together. And suddenly the tree, because there's so many different themes in a tree, it becomes, okay, just take all the throwing nodes, take all the fire nodes, take all the spell nodes. Like just whatever you're doing, just take all the nodes associated with that one thing. But instead we want to create decisions, so you're having to say ooh, I'm going to take this or this. Like what's the thing I want to take from my specific build? And then when you build that class differently, maybe you're using some nodes from the last time you did it, but you're switching up other nodes, so that it's different each time. And having that variation and the decision making is interesting and fun. And when there's too many themes involved in a single passive tree, those kind of vanish a little bit. They whittle away. All right, and then also class identity that I was talking about earlier. Rewind the tape an hour. All right, hey man, do you think a PC of 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 3050 Ti graphics card would run this game smoothly on max settings? Probably not. Max settings do require some doing. We're also on the cusp of a pretty big performance patch, which is going to change a lot of stuff. It's much more about your CPU than either of those two things you posted. However, the RAM is a little light, just in general, I think, these days. And video card is... that video card, I think, is rated almost identically to the one I'm using now. And I'm CPU bottlenecked. I know that. Okay. My goodness. Guys, come on, just give me a break here. Okay, that's enough kills. Run! Run! Oh no! However, I will say that the difference between medium and max settings isn't really that huge. This is on medium, I'm pretty sure, right now. Medium. 1440. Turn this on. Everyone should always be having this on, even if you're not streaming, trust me. It'll just run better. I promise. There you can see the settings that I've got. And so with those settings, I am streaming simultaneously on a now quite dated computer. This is a 1080 Ti factory OC edition or something like that, and a i7 7700K or something, not overclocked. Maybe slightly overclocked. It's got a nice cooler on there. The 32 gigs of RAM, but I need that for the editor. And I don't know how great the stream quality is, but as far as, and I don't keep Oh my god, this thing regenerates health faster than I can hurt it. Ah! Oh, it's the... He's getting healed, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what's going on. That's funny. Anyways, the... I do not notice any frame issues whatsoever. Like, it is butter smooth as far as I'm concerned. Alright. Will there be a Stone of Jordan type ring at some point? Stone of Jordan, yeah. So, like, if you mean +1 to all skills on a ring, it's not impossible. If you mean a singular, generically amazing, super awesome ring that basically everyone wants for any build for almost any reason, I really hope not. +1 to all skills on a ring is much less overpowered amazing in Last Epoch than it is in D2 though, so you know, there's differences there in power. That's what killed me last time. Run! Oh no! Okay, good. I know I could have dealt with that. I was having some fun. Fools! Fools! I don't know why I love that line. I love it. Hello, mage! Sorry to bother you with a question. That's why I'm here, no problem at all. Which maybe someone has already sent you. Oh, well, then, in that case, I'm out. No, I'm just kidding. By the way, I'm French, sorry from English. Sounds great so far, bud. My question is, do you plan to translate the game in different languages? Spanish, French, Russian, etc., or only English? Thanks for in advance for your answer. So we do plan to, so the term generally is used as localization. We do plan to localize the game to other regions. Because it doesn't always necessarily mean just strictly language changes. Sometimes there's really simple localization differences that are kind of subtle and weird. So like I live in Canada, and usually like I use an American keyboard layout. Like, and you're thinking, well, you both speak English. How could it be a different keyboard layout for American and Canadian keyboard layouts? Canadian keyboard layouts suck. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. Seriously. It is awful. And like, you install Windows on a computer and it tries to like force the keyboard layout to Canadian, and you're just like, no. And it adds an extra second keyboard layout. Yeah, sorry. I used to do tech support for years. I'm a little bitter still. Anyways, oh, get out of that. What am I getting at? Yes, we do plan to localize the games. Went off way on a tangent. I don't have details on which languages we're going to start with. It will be an ongoing process that we will continue to improve and expand upon as we progress. Initial launch, I assume, I expect we'll have like, it may not be initial launch. At some point, hopefully initial launch, I'm trying to make any promises that I don't know the answer to. We'll have like a select few popular languages that we see high user interaction with, and we think would be more valuable in expanding the number of people that can comfortably enjoy the game. There's some languages that it's really, it's a lot more work to translate into certain languages because there are different character sets. We've done a bunch of work with that already. You may or may not know this, but there are settings that you can turn on different character sets for chat. So it will, you'll start to see people talking with Cyrillic and people talking with Han, I think is the proper name for that. Apologize if I screwed either of those up. That's my bad. I'm just ignorant. Yeah, it's something we want to do and we want to expand upon. I don't know the details on when it's going to happen or what extent it's going to be, but yeah, that's an important thing. We know that that a lot of people don't speak English and a lot of people like playing games like this. So, I mean, yeah, we'd love to. The really hard part is this. Like, this needs to be really clear. There's really specific wording, and things get lost in translation sometimes. The difference between increased and more is a really integral part of defining what this node does. I just got lucky that I found a more damage node right off the bat. But like, little things like that have a huge impact, and because the people who are making these trees don't necessarily speak those languages, having it be accurate and precise is really difficult. we are partnering with a company that is experienced in specifically game development, localization. So they're, you know, they're good at that stuff. And we do have a lot of multilingual people on staff. Like we're a very international team. And so there's like there are people that are able to help make those distinctions on staff already and help improve the quality of that right away. We're a little over time. I'm doing the boss fight. I have one more spoiler. I do have one more spoiler. It's a good one. Oh no, come on!
Escape is impossible.
Put that in the dumbest spot ever. I got answering questions and I got flustered and I'm... Oh. Ugh. Well, next week we have a clear goal. Oh, there's a prediction for it? Oh, gosh.
What is this?
I didn't even notice that.
Astounding.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, well, next week we have a clear goal. I will bring my B game. This is my C game. Just a couple questions here. I got a spoiler here. I'll throw this up. Here is the update of something old that is now new. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, I found from my experience that pure melee builds, apart from a select 2 or 3, aren't that great. Is there any thoughts of improving this going forward? I think there's actually a lot of really good melee builds. We try not to look at it as a melee versus range comparison. There he is. Look at that big boy. Yeah. We try to think of it as a melee versus range comparison. We just like to look at, we try and get as many viable builds as possible and as many varied builds as possible, things like that. There is a letter error since forever in Last Epoch for Turkish players, even though the PC is English. That is capital letter I, shows in a different ugly font. Oh, that's frustrating for you. Sorry about that. I didn't know that. Yeah, there is a fallback font in case there's like a character that isn't used. That's really strange that it's that one character. That does look like a different character in here too. Weird. Does that copy into this? Yeah, that's a different character. That's not crazy. Yeah, we do not have support for that character set. That's neat. Thanks for your previous answer. You're welcome. I don't remember what it was for. How about the voice only English or maybe other language? I know it's not the same budget. Yeah, voices will likely be English only for a long time. It might go to other languages, but I think initially it'll start English only. So this room looks better now. Will it actually be scary and do damage? It'll just look prettier. Well, it shows up in a couple places. It also shows up in you fight Hearten and the Void Worms in that Time Rift. I think it shows up somewhere else too. But yeah, I mean, there's some broader changes to. I think it reaches up to this point in the campaign. coming eventually down the road. You know, maybe it's. I'd say how do I say this? That's early section of the campaign is feeling a little dated. There we go. I should probably have specified physical damage builds. I feel physical damage, not looking at bleeds. Because I was about to say, there's a lot of great bleed builds. Melee builds are not quite as strong as others. Yeah, I mean, there's once again, we try not to look at it as a, like, are there enough of each element build, and they kind of evolve as they go. Physical melee builds. Hey, maybe there's not enough. I don't know. I don't. There's no specific push for specific categories of builds to improve like that. All right. That'll about do it for me today. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be here same time, same place next week, answering questions, playing more terrible builds that I make, instead of stealing awesome builds from the community like I usually do. If you have any questions that I didn't get to here, I apologize. If you would like to have them answered, please head on over to Last Epoch Game. No, that's wrong. That's our website. Please head on over to our Discord. You actually go to the website too. There's a forum there that we keep a pretty close eye on. Oh, mute site. Oh, that was close. Yeah, we're generally pretty. We try and answer as many of them as we can. There's an Ask the Devs channel at our Discord as well. We're pretty darn active there. And I'm definitely not stalling for time. Oh wait, yes I am stalling for time. Yeah, there's a sweet podcast starting right now, 9 minutes ago, that we're gonna go say hi to. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you next time. Good stream.